your favorite book reading Ginger, and welcome to our book club. Happy New Year! We made it to 2020. I hope you have all this love and peace and happiness and plenty of time to read books in the new year. So, and if you made any New Year's resolutions, I hope you can stick to them and see through with them. So I hope everybody has the best 2020 year yet. All right. So, we are in A Court of Mist and Fury. We're going to do chapters 23 through 45 tonight. So, when we ended last, we were going to the mortal realm to see Feyre, to introduce the inner circle to Feyre's sisters and ask them if they can use their home to meet with the mortal queens. They have to meet with the mortal queens to get the other half of the book. To nullify the cauldron, which the king has. So a lot going on, and they're just, they're getting all their plans in place to nullify this cauldron and hopefully keep the king from destroying the wall that separates the fairy lands from the mortal realms. So we're in the mortal realm. Feyre's father is still gone, which was kind of odd to me. We still haven't seen him. We didn't see him last book when she left. He's still gone. He's apparently overseas, like trading, because he has his job back now, being a merchant person, whatever he does. But he trades and stuff. So he's still gone. So we find out, Feyre goes, her Rice, Azriel, and Cassian come with her, but they stay glamored, and she kind of goes alone. She meets Elaine. She's Faye. She's telling what's happened. She finds out Elaine is engaged to a man who hates Faye. So Nesta's like, you know what? You're not doing this here. You're not bringing this into our home. And Elaine, stood up for Faye and was like, she did so much for us. The least we can do is allow her to have, these meetings here. So they work things out. So they're going to start meeting the mortal queens at their sister's house, or their father's house. So the sisters get to meet Rice, Azriel, and Cassian and Nesta. Oh, wow. I think Cassian or Nesta, they really have met their match with each other. They love to bicker and snap at each other, and it's so funny. So while they're in the mortal realms, Rhysand takes Feyre off to do some training to work on her powers, and he wants her to. He gives her this candle. He's like, I want you to light it, douse it, and then dry it. But he leaves because she's like, I can't. You're bothering me, and they're kind of talking to Devon. And he's like, oh, you left me with Cassian and Nesta, and they're about to tear the house down. And while she's out there trying to do this thing with this candle, the otter comes after her and tries to get her, and Rhysand intercedes, and we find out he used her as bait, and Feyre gets ticked off. She's like, no, you don't use me as bait without my permission. That's not okay. So she's trying to get him, and he's winnowing away from her, and she's just like, oh, I just want to punch that smug little, look off his face, and time slows down, and she winnows for the first time. So now we know she is super powerful, that she can also winnow, and she tumbles right into Rhysand, and they fall into the snow, and it's a little, little moment between them, but it's super cool because she winnowed for the first time. So they go back to, while they're there at Feyre's house, they write the letters to the mortal queen, so they've set a time to meet. They're just waiting for them to reply. But they go to Valeris out together as a group, and they go for dinner, and it's just so, I love the little, their little closeness that they have, that she has with, Rhysand's friends, and his, he considers them family, and I just love how close they all are, and how she's becoming a little bit, a part of their group. And Rhysand takes her to see the sights of Valeris, and they see the rainbow of Valeris, and the houses are painted rainbow colored, and the shops are, and there's this artist quarter with these musicians that are playing music and selling their artwork pieces, and it's just a beautiful little town that he's kept hidden from everybody. for all these years for such a good cause, because he wanted, to keep them safe. So they go back and they like Ryson and Farrah start like doing this little flirting thing through these like little notes that like disappear and appear. Like they'll write something and it'll just disappear, and then it's like I guess their form of texting, but the Fae form of texting, I guess. So they like write these little notes and like they disappear with the pen, and they write back and forth to each other, and they're like little flirting, and it's harmless and it's so cute. And like these are the chapters where I really started like shipping them. I was like, oh yeah, this is my ship. I'm on it and I'm sailing away because this is they've got to be in game. I love them. So cute. So Farrah starts training with Cassian. I love it, love it, love it. Like that she starts training with him. And he's like kind of picking on her about this note. She wrote Tamlin a note that's like, I'm fine, don't come after me, but I am fine. I need some space. And Cassian's like, so you wrote the note, huh? And and like they start kind of like bickering back and forth. And as her and Cassian are training, I was gonna read you the pages from it because, like, to me, it was so beautifully written. She's talking about Aramitha. He fought for me, but I fought harder for him, which is true. She did all those tasks, and he just sat beside her throne the whole time. She fought very hard for Tamlin. And then, she says, he has the nerve to say I was no longer useful. I was to be cloistered for his peace of mind. He had given me everything I needed to become myself, to feel safe, and when he got back what he wanted, he stopped trying. He was still good, still Tamlin, but he was just wrong. So, like, she's punching with Cassian, and she's thinking through all this, and then it talks that, her fists are connecting with bare skin because she had burned through the sparring pads. And Cassian was like, I'm good. Like, I'm alright. And so, she just looked at Cassian and she's like, I killed them. And, it's all that coming back from under the mountain that she killed those Fae. So Ryson comes in and he's like puts this gentle darkness around him, and he kind of like closes his wings around him, and he's like, you're gonna feel that way every day for the rest of your life. And then he told her, you can either let it wreck you, you can let it get you killed like it nearly did with the Weaver, or you can learn to live with it. And he was like, I'm sorry I didn't find a way to spare you from what happened on the mountain, from dying, from wanting to die. And I was just like, oh. And then he says, I have two kinds of nightmares. The ones where I'm again Aramitha's whore, or my friends are, and the ones where I hear your neck snap and see the light leave your eyes. Oh, poor Rysand. He's so sweet. So I love how he kind of got her and he calmed her down. And he's like, look, we can talk about this. You can talk about this to me. He has nightmares about what happened under the mountain, and we know she has nightmares about what happened under the mountain. And when she was with Tamlin, like in his house, if they didn't talk about it, it wasn't something they talked about because they didn't want it to be mentioned. They didn't want to mention it. He just wanted to forget it. And sometimes you need to talk about these things. These are serious things. So I love how he's like, I'm with you. I'm here for you. We're gonna get through this. We'll get through this together. And it's just so sweet. It's just so sweet. I love it. I love it. Love Rysand. He's like, just so perfect. So, we get to go to the summer court. Well, Rysand, Farrah, and Amren get to go to the summer court. And I loved it. Loved it, loved it. Summer's my favorite season. So I was very excited to go see another court. And it's like on the sea, and it's just beautiful and summery, and I just love it. And we got to meet Tarquin, which is the High Lord of the Summer Court. We also got to meet the princess of the Summer Court and the prince, I think Varian. I think him and Amren had a little thing going on, a little thing. They were flirting a lot there. Tarquin and Farrah, they definitely I think he liked her. And she tells him, it would be easy to love you, but easier to be your friend. And he like later tells her the same thing, like, Farrah, it would be easy to love you, but easier to be your friend. So they become like friends, and I love it. And so while she's there at the summer court, they're there to get the book, and they're trying to get like a feel of like where the book may be at, because it's going to call to Farrah. She's trying to fill it out. Tarquin's like taking her around the city, showing her all of his like treasure troves, like, and she's feeling nothing. And she's like, where could this book be? So one day she's walking by and she sees like this little piece of like a temple sticking out of the water. It's a little temple like surrounded by mud, and like it's low tide, so I guess she can see it. And so she points it out to him and asks him about it. And like while she does that, she kind of goes into his mind, and he's like, why is she asking about that? Why would she care about that? So she knows that's where the book is. So her and her mom go in, and they're like, we're gonna get this book. They're like, we're gonna get it. And so they go in, and like they have to nudge the mud, and they're digging. And she talks about like there's crabs like skittering over her skin, and she's trying to think about they're just digging, like trying to get to it. And there's like she like puts her hand on the door, and she like powers like Tarquin's like his water power, his like through herself, like she becomes Tarquin. She's like, I am Tarquin, you will open. Because while she was at summer court, she was actually practicing, like she talked about like she's in the bathtub and she'd practice these little water animals in secret where nobody would know. And because she felt, maybe since she felt like a strong urge with that power, maybe she thought from being so close to Tarquin, the summer court the high lord of the summer court, that's his power. So she thought maybe that's why it was calling to her. So, but that's how she like got them in. So they get in and they're looking, and she finally like sees it, and it like says, hello, who are you? And she's like, I am Tarquin, I am your master. Like she's channeling that energy through her. Well, when she picks up the actual book, it says liar, and like it locks them in as the water's rushing in. And of course they're like, oh gosh, we're gonna drown. Farrah's thinking we're gonna drown. She's like trying to get the door open. She's trying to be like, I am Tarquin, I am, but it's not working. The door won't open. It's metal. And they're like, oh, how are we gonna get out? So all of a sudden the door rips off, and these little web fingers grab and pull them out. And when they pop up, it's the water wraith that she gave her jewels to, so they would have fish. And she was like, my sister's debt is repaid. So it's one of the water wraiths that she gave her jewels to, or at least its sister. It saved her because of that. So very lucky they were. So Bryson at this time is supposed to be like flying overhead and like keeping guards and kind of watching. Their goal was, to just kind of get it, and they didn't want Tarquin to know. Well, they set off every alarm in the place apparently. They're like, where the hell were you at? And Bryson was like, you set all the alarms off. I was just trying to like cover up. So he winnows them out, and he takes them back to the night court. And we find out later that Farrah finds him, and he's kind of like, I guess, kind of in an ill mood. And there's these 3 like rubies, blood rubies, like sitting in a box. And he was like, these arrived from the summer court. Apparently in the summer court, when you get a blood ruby, if you come back, they will kill you. So, and he feels bad, and Farrah felt bad because Tarquin, wanted to be their friend. He even made a comment to Farrah that he didn't think Bryson was as bad as people made him out to be, because he's like, I saw him under the mountain, unless if she ordered him to, he didn't do it. So, he kind of saw into, I guess a little bit through Bryson. He wanted to be an ally with the Night Court. He wanted Farrah to help him become an ally to the Night Court. So I think it kind of hurt both of them that, like, not possible maybe. So I felt pretty bad for him. He was, poor Tarquin, he was trying to be such a good person, and I know he feels really betrayed probably. And I don't even know if he knows they were looking for the book, or if they stole. I don't know if he knows that's what they stole was the book. I mean, I'm assuming he does. I'm assuming he knew it was there. So they have one part of the book. They're working to decode it, but in the meantime, they are still waiting to hear from the queens to get the second half of the book. So we finally hear from them, the mortal queens. They're varying in age and personality and all this, and they meet with them. And they're very, Rysand, describes them as, just, they were rude and haughty and, frightened fools because they didn't want to give them the book. I mean, they asked her out, can we have the book? This is what we're trying to do. This, and they were like, we don't care about this continent. And Elaine and Nesta were there in the meeting, and they were like, but you should. These are your people. You should care. And they're like, no, we'll take care of ourselves, because they were like, at least if you're not going to give us the book, help us get these people out. And they were like, yeah, that'd take a lot of ships, and we just, we don't care enough. So they didn't trust Rysand. They were wanting proof. So when they left, this is like I love this part. Elaine said, I hope they all burn in hell. Like little Elaine, who never says anything. She's so quiet. She's like, I hope these mortal queens burn in hell. So they're trying to figure out a way to show the mortal queens that they can be trusted. And there's this Veritas orb, and Rysand said they can use that, and they can show them Valeris. Of course, Farrah's like, no, they're all more, they're like, no, we don't want to, no, not, Valeris, you've worked 500 years to keep this place a secret, to keep this place safe. He's like, you know what, it's the only way that they'll trust us and give us the other half of the book. It's the only way we can win this. So to get this orb, the orb resides in the Night Court, under the protection of Moore's family. Moore's family is kind of like, her father kind of like is, I guess, kind of runs the Night Court in a way, like under Rysand, like, it's kind of like who kind of is in charge when he's not there, I guess, or he's not around all the time, I guess he kind of keeps things in order. So we kind of find out a little bit about Moore's background. She was, she's very powerful, and so her family was very excited to like marry her off, and they arranged a wedding or a marriage between her and the Autumn Court son, Eris, I think is his name. And she didn't want to. She begged them not to. They wouldn't listen. So she went to the Lyrian war camp with Rhys, and she met Cassian, and they had sex, and it was a one-time thing. They've never done it again. And she said she just did it because she wanted to sully herself. Because when she came back and her family found that she was no longer pure, and not only, she did it with an Illyrian warrior, they were like, no. Eris didn't want her. He told her family, I don't want her since she's sullied herself. And so they took Moore, and like, this was awful. It broke my heart. They nailed a note to their daughter saying that they didn't want her, that it was the Autumn Court's problem, and they dumped her over the border of the Autumn Court and just left her there. Like, after they nailed a note into her abdomen that told them that they were like, it's your problem now. Like, oh my gosh, like, that was just awful. And I felt so bad for Moore, and she's been through so much, and she's still so strong and sweet, and oh my goodness. And I think later we find out Azriel was the one that found her and picked her up and took her to the Night Court. So that just, because that's like, they all get along, but I always wondered about Cassian and Moore and Azriel and Moore, because, there's like tension there, but I guess they just both really care for her. So we find that out, and we go into the Night Court. Well, to go into the Night Court, Farrah has to kind of play like she did under the mountain. Like, she has to play as, Rysand's like plaything again. But we go under the mountain, and I was kind of, to the Night Court, which is under a mountain. I was kind of shocked. The Court of Nightmares is like, it's a city under the mountain. Like, it's a city under this mountain. There's houses and buildings, and I was just shocked. I didn't think about it like that. But there's like, she talks about like there's these houses and buildings like made out of the stone of the inside of the mountain, and so it's very neat how, I mean, as bad and wicked as the place is, it's very, very neat how it is, how it's built. It's thriving under this mountain, and there's like a natural spring under the mountain that like kind of runs through the city. So that's really neat. So she, is up on the throne. She's in that outfit from like Under the Mountain again. They're all, she and Rice are having a lot of fun. She's getting all, he's touching all over her, and she's sitting in his lap, and I think they're both enjoying it, and they get the orb and get the heck out of there. Of course, he came by and he's like, your lord's here. He played the part. His wings were gone. He was just that menacing high lord that they know, and they were partying, and I think Cassian kind of slipped off and got the orb, and then they just kind of left and got out of there. So that was that. But it was neat to see the night court. So before we end, we get to see Starfall. This is so very cool. She doesn't like, they tell her like, Starfall, we got to see Starfall before we leave, because they're going to the Illyrian camp after Starfall. And, they don't really tell Pharaoh what Starfall is. It apparently only happens in the night court. And they, mainly, they'll watch from Valeris, but they say even the wicked people of the Court of Nightmares kind of crawl out on this night to see Starfall. So they look up in the sky, and like Farrah at first describes it as stars, but then she says she realizes it's not stars, it's like spirits of some sort, but it's like, but they're cold, they're like iridescent, and they just shoot through the sky. And Ryson's like, I don't know where they're coming or why they come back each year, but they do. And it's the same time every year. So Farrah and Ryson kind of go off and watch it by themselves, and like this big piece of spirit just comes and like smacks her in the face, and it's like glowing, and it's like this greenish blue, and it just smacks her in the face, and Ryson's laughing, and she's like, hey. And then about the time one smacks him in the face, and she starts laughing and smiling at him, and he's just like, do that again like smile again. And he tells her that he regrets that kiss he did under the mountain, like when he found her in Tamlin and he like grabbed her and kissed her. He was like, I regret that. He's like, I didn't want that to be our first kiss. He was like, I'm so sorry. So I was like, that's really sweet. And they kind of had a moment, and I was like, and she asked him if they can go dance with their friends. And she was like, even if I step on your toes? He's like, yes. And she's like, even if I step on your toes? He's like, even then, I'll dance with you all night if you want to. So they go and they dance amongst their friends, and it's just really sweet. They got to see this really cool thing that only happens in the night court, and, spending among friends. Well, in the morning after Starfall, they leave and they go to the Illyrian camp. We kind of get to see a little bit of like, I guess like the training that they do. Cassian's really big on like getting the females trained. He wants them to, if he found out they didn't get to train because they were tired after chores. He was like, no, training first, then they can do chores. He was like, they should be able to train. They should be able to fight. So and because usually Illyrian females, they clip their wings so they can't ever fly again, and they're just used for like breeding purposes, which is really sad. So like Cassian is really, and Rysand, like they're working to fight to get them on, so they can train and be warriors just like the guys. So we get to kind of see the Illyrian camp, and they're gonna hang out there for a little bit, and then while they're waiting for the royal queens to contact them about, I guess not really the book, but seeing this shred of proof, they're going to take them the Veritas Orb and show them Valeris once they contact them. But that's kind of like where it ends at. So, any thoughts anybody has? My thoughts, these chapters are really good. We're definitely setting up for the ending. You can just kind of tell a lot's going on, a lot's setting up for something big. I don't really know how we're going to nullify the cauldron. We still don't have the other half of the book yet. We don't know if the Mortal Queens will give it to him. Amryn is working really, really hard. She's trying to decode. She's the only one that can decode it because she was made into high fae. She's something completely different. And hopefully they're hoping they can find, like, how to unleash her. Like, how to unleash what she is in her true form. Which nobody really knows what that is. So if they decode this book, they might figure it out. But I don't know because we only have one half. And she is working on decoding it. But we still don't have the other half, so I don't know how that's going to work. If they can nullify the cauldron with just one half of the book, I don't know. The blood rubies from Summer Court. I don't think Summer Court's going to retaliate. Like, I don't think they'll come, like, attack the Night Court. I don't know if that's how Tarquin would do things. He seems so sweet, though, and so gentle, and I just hate that this even, like, I hate that they're, like, have this rift between them because I think they could have been really good allies, and they may still be once they, like, maybe once they nullify the cauldron and they're like, look, this is why we sold this book. You can have it back now, though. Like, maybe they'll become some kind of friends. So, of course, I am totally shipping Fair and Rysand. I just love them. Like, absolutely love them. I think they're so cute. He's just, you know, he's helping her where Tamlin was like, you know, he's allowing her to do, like, to train, to use these powers she has, to learn about them, to be a part of this without, you know, being, like, claustering her, and just be like, I want you to stay here and just wear pretty dresses and paint and don't move and don't leave this room and just be safe, you know. There's ways to be safe without doing all of that. I don't think Rysand would ever put her in any, like, true harm. So in the next chapters will be 46 and all the way to the end of the book. So we're finishing up A Court of Mist and Fury. I think that's all I have. If you have any comments, feel free to comment below. Let me know how you like the video. Let me know how you're liking the book. Are you liking it so far? What are your thoughts? Just let me know. You can comment below and let me know. If you have any 2020 resolutions or, you know, for the new year that you want to share, comment below. I'd love to hear them. Any books that you're excited about coming out in 2020? Excuse me, sorry. Comment below and let me know what's going on out there. I'm the Book Reading Ginger. I do these live streams every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can hit the little bell to know when I'm going live again. You can follow me on Instagram at the Book Reading Ginger, and I think that's all I got for tonight. Bye, guys.